All right. I'm here to kind of demonstrate how to do the lab setup for the dilution of gravity. And I'm just going to kind of point out the things that you need to have in order to do the lab. First of all, you need to have one of these aluminum ramps. They're back there on the table. You do need a set of photo gates. Okay, so I've got photo gate 1 and photo gate 2. And the photo gates plug into this guy right here, which is the photo gate photo gate port, which plugs into the USB port adapter for the computer. You need one of these carts. You need one of these little picket fences. Okay, so these are the items that you need in order to do the, and then you need to have the angle measuring device, and or I'll show you like an app that I have on my phone that works well for that too. And then you need some books, so you'll just grab some books out of your backpack in order to raise one of the ends of your ramp. All right, so now I think I've got everything kind of set up. I've got some paper to record some numbers, and I've got my data table all ready to go. First things first, there we go. We need to set up our logger or data studio. So I'm plugging in my sensor, it's picking it up. And while we do that, as it's loading up, I know I need to get the length of the fence. So I'm going to take the fence and I'm going to take the top part right here. So this is the part that I want to measure because it's the smallest part. And I'm going to figure out what that is. And I don't need to even get a ruler because it's right here. And it looks like it's 2.5 centimeters. So let me write that down. 2.50 centimeters. But remember, I want this in meters. So I need to make that change. So 0.0250 meters. Now the nice thing is that's not going to change at all, so that'll be the same for every trial. Okay? We are doing 5 trials of this. Okay? And my software is finally loading up. And I have some choices here. So it gives me the choice of photo gate timing is what I'm looking for. So I'm going to select the photo gate timing. Say OK. And then I actually get columns that are set up. So it says time and gate, okay, and then time between gates. So there's 2 columns here, time and gate, time between gates. Now, I'm just going to show what's going to happen here when I press start. Okay, when I press start, I'm going to get a number. So this little sensor here has a little infrared sensor, and when the beam gets broke, the light flicks up here, and that gives me a time in the first gate, and that should be my first number. So that's the time in the first gate. Then I go to my second one, and again, when I break the beam, I get a little flicker of the red light, tells I went through it, and that should give me my time in gate 2. So now I got time in gate 2. And it also then gave me the time that it took to get between these 2. So in other words, I break the sensor, that's the first time. I break the sensor, that's the second time, and then it finds out the time that it took for me to get between the 2. All right? That's how this works. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start with our carts up here, okay? And we're going to let the cart roll down like that. Don't let it go off the end of the table, okay? It's going to get to the end. This will be time in gate 1, time in gate 2, and then the time in between the gates. So it follows my data. Okay? And it looks like I ended up getting 0.04286 and 0.022718, and then 0.588 838. Okay, so those are my times. Now, the times should make sense. This one should be longer because the car was moving slower. This one should be smaller because the car was moving faster. Because remember, the time or the length of the gate doesn't change. Okay, these two pieces of information are going to make our velocity. Okay, that we're going to do down here. So it's a distance divided by time. The time in the gate between the gates is what we're going to use to calculate that acceleration. Okay, so in other words, this is going to be my VI, VF, and then my T to give me my A. So I'll calculate that acceleration. Now the angle of the ramp, we just use this guy right here, and we just read it. And it's going to give me an angle, and it looks like it's about 4.5 degrees. Now I do have an app that is on my phone, and this is actually a free app that I use. Hold on. And it's called iHandyLevel. And iHandyLevel just basically does this. It creates a little bubble level that allows me to measure an angle. So I'm just going to set this on there to get them reading. And that actually is telling me it's 5.4, where this one told me it was about 4.5. So we're pretty darn close between the two. And you can kind of choose which way to go, but that's where I'm going to get that angle. From there I get my angle, which I'm going to then calculate the sine of the angle, and then I can actually find the calculation for gravity, so I can figure out what gravity is. Remember that you're going to do this 5 times, so you need to change your angle each time, okay? And that should be the lab. If you have questions, of course, ask me in class. Otherwise, good luck, and I look forward to seeing your lab reports.